The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. This is a very simple question. It doesn't have so much to do with comics, but a lot of comic people on Twitter are talking about this. They seem very, very wrapped up in it. Eric Larson basically deleted his Twitter because of this topic. So the comment is, hey Perch, Elon Musk has purchased Twitter. What do you think this is going to do for freedom of speech and people who want to talk about things on the internet? Okay, had nothing to do with comics, but here's what I predict is going to happen and how it's going to play out. Elon buying Twitter is basically, if you break it all down, it's a super rich guy buying Twitter. In the end, what's going to happen if you think like suddenly Twitter is going to change to be more fun or better in some ways? I mean, if it becomes more fun, it's because some of the people who were previously banned or would have been banned will no longer be banned, and they're people you might have followed, so you enjoy, seeing them on the service. So from that standpoint, the service will be more fun. But it's not like Twitter is going to start paying you money or, giving free lap dances for using the service, whatever you're into. That's not going to happen. So Twitter is still going to be Twitter. So in the grand scheme of things, this is a rich guy buying Twitter. However, here's the thing that I think is going to occur. So you're seeing it right now already. A lot of people are going to be calling, Elon Musk a hardcore Republican white nationalist. Except, Elon Musk, it's hard to put white nationalist on Elon Musk. People are going to try, and they're certainly doing it, depending on your political affiliation. Maybe that's you. But you are still talking about the guy who basically is pushing solar panels and electric cars and arguably doing a lot more for the environment than many of the people from either political party are doing for the environment. Arguably, Elon Musk is currently doing more for climate change than, a dramatic amount of people who, politically claim to be on one side or the other. So, I think that if people will yell and they'll shout because perception is reality and everything else, but it's going to be hard to stick the idea that you've got this trashy Republican billionaire who now owns Twitter. It's going to be hard for that to stick. They will try, but the problem is people in the middle, people who really don't get too hung up on, Trump or Biden or, AOC or Ted Cruz or any people who just kind of would like to, go out there and live their life and have it be reasonably not crappy and, be able to afford rent or whatever they're doing and move on with their lives, which is where many people get to. It's always kind of, the interesting thing is when you get into your 40s, you find that many people who have a job and are just kind of, trying to plunk away through life, they don't spend a lot of time obsessed with politics. At that point in the 40s, they're just worried about, making money, kids, all that kind of stuff. If they get involved in politics, it's because something has come around to impact their life. It's why the whole, what are my kids being taught in school resonated so well with parents, because, you can get into, Biden's laptop or Hillary's emails or Trump's taxes. I mean, you can try and make a big deal out of that, but by and large, normies are not going to care too much about that. But if suddenly the equation or the question mark is, I've got kids in school, and kids in school, what are they being taught? Then suddenly you get people's attention. And it cuts both ways, by the way. If suddenly you get to, hey, we're giving giant tax breaks to corporations, which once upon a time was the thing the Republicans would get caught with, suddenly normies in the middle are like, I'm paying a lot in taxes. Why is this billionaire not paying taxes? I'm angry. Suddenly, like, the world starts to impact them, and, crap changes in a hurry. But this whole Elon Musk supports white nationalists and other things that trying to go. I saw that AOC tweeted something like Elon Musk is trying to make a haven on Twitter for white nationalism and hate crime and everything. What's interesting about this is that AOC has successfully, whether you like her or not, used Twitter as a way to dunk on people. She is the master of kind of savage tweets and being able to, slam people for that. That is, that's how she's used Twitter. She is using it for that purpose, and she's used it very successfully. But now, there's a shiny new object that's come along, and that's Elon. Elon is better at savage dunks on Twitter than AOC is. So AOC posts this thing, and she gets like 58,000 likes. And Elon comes around and goes, quit trying to flirt with me. Just kind of this, basically he's riffing off of something that she once said, where she's like, a lot of the people who are after me on the right are just, horny for me. But basically he was using her own savage bait against her. And where she got like 58,000 likes, he has at this count 145,000. So he's doing much better than she is, playing the game that she kind of popularized on the platform. So, by the way, all this is garbage. But what is happening relatively quickly at this point is you're seeing people just kind of, you're seeing this shift of people treating Twitter like a bit of a joke, which is what Twitter is. So I think what ultimately is happening here, or what's going to spin out of all this, is that Twitter is going to lose some of its prominence of being a platform that anyone cares about, that anyone gets really wrapped up in. Twitter is going to become back to what it was, which was a goofy social media platform like Facebook was at the beginning, like MySpace was at the beginning, a place where people go around and screw around and whatever else. But it's going to stop being perceived as the end-all, be-all of what's going to guide decisions. And so if we bring it back to comics, if you are a comic editor and you were kind of steering some of your decisions based on what was said on Twitter, well, now you don't trust Twitter because evil Elon Musk is running it. So now you're going to have to look for somewhere else to basically, just determine where you get your ideas from. So there is a possibility, by the way, that some, I don't know, maybe all the Democrats are going to go to Truth Social, probably not that one. But maybe they're all going to go to some other platform, and then we'll get the rise of kind of whatever Tumblr 2 in terms of making decisions for comics. But what's more likely to happen is everyone, normies and people just kind of doing this stuff, is going to burn out on the whole concept. I think there's been a deep desire for the last several years to say, you know what, we all gave collectively Twitter way too much power in our lives and in steering kind of what we do and how we think about people and who we should cancel or not cancel and all that. Like we went, like there's a lesson to be learned here. And the lesson is, why did we outsource so much of how we felt, our emotions, our anger, who we hated, who we loved? Why do we outsource so much of that to Twitter? Now Twitter is returning to just being a place for lulls, and it's kind of going to have this effect of breaking the habit. And I don't know. I don't know Elon Musk. He's not a friend. He's not a neighbor. God willing, he's listening to this show right now and just loves the quality of the audio, and he decides to give me several $1 million as a gift. That would be wonderful. Elon, bring it on. Help me buy a comic company. We'll do it together. But anyway, but if as I look at it, there's a possibility that he provides some net good in all this. And the net good is basically breaking everyone from taking this dumb platform so seriously. Because it feels like the world we're in. And where comic books are concerned, that's nothing but helpful. Now, make no mistake about it, I think people will try and find other places. And you still have the DNA of the people who are in charge, who are way too willing to outsource kind of their good decision-making process to random people on the internet. That's not going to change. But anything that unplugs some of this dependency, anything that takes people away from where they've been of this Twitter obsession, this is a positive thing. This is something that is going to, in the end, net good results. And including people like AOC, I think, if AOC is basically loses some power in this process, the power to, because look, she has successfully had a career, and I would argue much of her political career has benefited from her going onto Twitter and, dunking on people and basically making fun of them. And we could take it a step further and bullying people. That's what she's done. She has a political opponent and she clowns on them, and she has a bunch of followers that then pile on and clown on them in return. And now she's discovering, hey, there's a bigger, more smarter troll, and that's Elon. And so, I mean, if anything, it's going to cause her to have to go and, do some work for a change and going to have to actually work for that attention as opposed to utilize the platform she used to have. Disrupting that is good for everyone. It hasn't been healthy to have people on this platform, right, left, and center, whoever it might be, being able to go out there and clown on people and get attention for it. And so this is good. So I don't know. I have no money in this game, pro Elon, anti Elon, whatever else. Whether you love him or you hate him, it is an undeniable fact that if you're talking about pure automotive emissions, he's done more than a lot of people to try and help the climate. I understand electricity's also got to come from somewhere, so it's not all, but reusable SpaceX, a lot of this stuff. I mean, you can't take that away from him, no matter how much you want to. And I think as we're seeing several people freak out and flip out and call this guy the worst human in all of existence, it's going to have a real hard time sticking, because everybody knows that Elon has pushed the electric car forward quite a bit, and that's what a lot of people claimed that they wanted. That was good for society. That's what they claimed was necessary, and Elon did it. So if you're not going to come around and call him a white supremacist, I mean, it's just not going to stick with a lot of the normies. And on top of that, the Tesla is a highly desired car, just like the iPhone is a highly desired phone. Yes, your iPhone, if you have one right now, was probably built by borderline slave labor in China, but you still want one because it's a good device. It's really cool. Turns out a lot of people who drive cars would really like a Tesla because they seem they're really nice. I mean, it's a fancy luxury car, and if you're successful, you've got a Tesla. That's how people think. So, I mean, you can attack him all you want. It doesn't change the fact that people still want his car, and people, still want luxury. So this is a losing battle if people are really going to try and say, I don't have access. The problem is eventually people wake up and go, hang on a second. You're angry that Elon Musk bought Twitter, a place where you can go and post and bitch and, make jokes. And you're angry because now you're not able, but you're still able to make jokes because you haven't been blocked. Like what is your real beef with this guy? Oh, he's letting other people make jokes like you make jokes. It doesn't stick. I'm sorry. It doesn't stick. And keep in mind, I'm somebody who for many years, I think I would have described myself as being left-leaning. And I'm still in this very bizarre state where, I identify a little bit with that graph that he posted where it's like, if you are left-leaning and then you go live in Seattle, very soon you find yourself like, I basically am socially liberal, and now I don't recognize anything about that party. I'm sorry. It's very weird to me. It doesn't represent me anymore. So I don't know what's going on. That's not to say I've run to the right, because I largely don't recognize the right either. So I mean, it's like I'm just left in no man's land, and that's a lot of people are in that place right now. It's why you see the polling the way you do, and you see a lot of disenfranchised independents. But well, whatever. I think this is probably net positive, really, for society that Elon's bought Twitter. I didn't think that right away, but watching it roll out over the days that have followed, I think it's net positive. But it's not net positive because suddenly Elon is bringing free speech to everyone. It's not that. It's positive because it's taking away how obsessively intense people were about Twitter. It's removing that. I think that's going to help lots of things in life, including comics. But anyway, thank you for the question. That's how I think about it. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I don't have a real dog in this fight, so nor do I go to dog fighting. But that's how I view it. I think this is anything that can kind of remove some of the obsessive, unhealthy hold that this hellscape of a site has on people is a good thing. That's how I view it. Anyway, thank you very much for the question, and thanks for listening.